is Sophia, and I made wampanoag jewelry. I got the idea from Plymouth Plantation. I made it with string and shells. The wampanoags made it with string and shells as well.
My name is Lucas. My artifact is Machoon. I got this idea from Plymouth Plantation, and the wampanoags used it to travel by water.
I'm Juliana, and I made a cradle board. The wampanoag used this they hung it on a tree so that they wouldn't have to hold their baby while working. I got this idea from Plymouth Plantation because I saw it, and I saw lots of deerskin and leather, and I made it out of wood, fabric that looked like leather, and fur. I also just added my baby doll because I used it to represent a baby.
I'm Kate, and my artifact project is a lookout tower. The lookout tower is used to scare away birds that try to eat the crops. And I made it with sticks, and I just made a little structure. I got this from AC Moore, and just glued it on. I got the rest of this, made it upside down, and put a little metal bird on it. Then I got little fake trees, and like my mom made a little fake plants for the lookout tower.
I'm Maya, and for my artifact project, I did pilgrim pottery. I made it by getting clay and rolled it into a long strip, and then swirling it over, and then making the handle. And then I mixed 3 different colors for the blue, and then for the green and the yellow, they were just one.
My name is Jack, and my artifact was an eel trap, and I made it by going to the woods, grabbing sticks, made a metal, and then I made a metal mold for an eel trap and put sticks around it, and then put the other sticks around it and tied it together with twine.
My name is Avery, and my artifact is a motor and pestle. I made it I went out in the woods, and I found a piece of wood, and I used a chisel to open the middle, and I found a stick, and I curved the bottom of it.
My artifact is a corn husk doll, and how I made it is I soaked the corn husks for 10 minutes, then my mom dried them, and then I put two on each other. Then I grabbed twine, and on the tip of the corn husk, I tied it very, very tight. And then I saw 2 loose ends, so I pulled them down to form the head. And then it looks like a dress. So then I had to hold the bottom of it, and I got the tips of the bottom, and I cut it to make it look like feet. And then I got twine, and I tied it very tight to form the legs. And then I grabbed another piece of twine, and I just folded it in half. And then there was like a little hole, and I put the corn husks through the hole. Then I grabbed twine, and I put it around the neck so the head would stay together. And then on the ankles, I put twine on the ankles, and then that's how I made it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the stadium here in Fairhaven. I'm Jim Thompson alongside Paul Santos, Andrew Thompson as well. It's a traditional Thanksgiving Day game between the Blue Devils of Fairhaven and the visitors from Dartmouth High School, the Dartmouth High School Indians. Paul, welcome to the telecast and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, Jim, and everyone here at the DCTV staff.
Well, it's we're in the home side of the stadium, the Blue Devil side. It's quite chilly here, my friend.
Yes, you know, when we first got here this morning, actually the weather was worse than it is now. The sun is starting to peek through. It was very rainy. The field conditions are subpar, kind of soggy down there, but the sun has broken through, and that's made it a little bit better. But the thing is the wind chill factor. We have about 20-mile-an-hour wind, so even though we're in the mid to upper 40s and may even get close to 50 later today with the wind chill factor, it really does feel like we're down in the 30s.
Big news from the Dartmouth side of the field. One of the best runners in recent memory, Dylan Pacheco, out for this game.
Definitely hurts the Indians, and you always hate to see that too, because this is a situation where when you're a senior, you really want to enjoy and play your last game, and so the Indians will definitely miss him.
And the Indians won the toss, have decided to kick off here, and it's returned by Joseph, and Joseph is down the far sideline, and he's out for a big return here to start the ball game. Down inside Dartmouth territory,
12, Peter Joseph
down to about the 45-yard line.
Tremendous return here for Peter Joseph, and this is exactly what you need if you're the Fairhaven Blue Devils. You're coming into the game here as the underdog, and to get that return, I'd say about 35 yards by Joseph, and the Fairhaven Blue Devils have the ball in enemy territory on their first drive.
Cam Gordon is the quarterback, and Rudy Bulger is the coach, and you're going to see a lot of crazy offense from him. And that's a gain of 10 on first down. And the ball was run by
Sabula on the carry.
Sabula.
Brought down by number 9.
Owen Sabula's been around the program for a while, Paul, and he's a very good player.
Excellent player. Obviously, he's been playing. He's been a 3-year starter. He's a senior at 6 feet, 170 pounds, gets the first call. And a nice gain on first down as the Blue Devils get a first down on the first run.
And they'll go here on first down right up the middle of that Indian defense. This for a very
Sabula
short
on the
game.
carry.
That was Sabula
Fans,
once
don't forget,
again.
50-50 raffle tickets are for sale in the gridiron booth.
Ethan Marks was in there.
Announcement will be made at halftime for the winner.
The Indians. A very short game.
Part of the year. I can feel it.
Second down and 8.
Well, the Indian defense has struggled a bit this year, but they're going to be called upon here with this tremendous field position that Fairhaven started with to start the game. A big defensive stand here would be big for the game.
And there's a high snap, and the quarterback's just going to try to do the best he can with it. That was Joseph.
Gordon on the run.
Jacob Medeiros was there from the Indians to make the stop. Nice play by the quarterback. Gained a yard. It looked like he may lose 2 or 3 off the high snap.
Yeah, it's probably the second time we've seen the snap very high like that, and Gordon, not the tallest, kind of leaping in the air to get that ball. It takes a few seconds to bring that in, and that can actually derail the play, but he did a good job going up the middle and at least creating a third down and a reachable 6.
Gordon takes another high snap, hands it off, and the Indians on this third down call make the stop. That was Jacob Medeiros along with Nate Boucher making the play. We'll look on.
Every single snap seems to go high in the air for Gordon, the quarterback, and as we said, he's done a good job bringing the ball in, but he's had to reach up with his fingertips and then haul it in, and all he could do was carry the ball up the middle. Unfortunate situation here for Fairhaven going for it here on fourth down, but, you know, to start the game with such great field position and not come up with anything, that would be very bad, so let's see what Fairhaven can do here.
And they're going into the wind. They're going to run the option, and that's going to go nowhere. And Jacob Medeiros read it all the way, and the Indians turn him over. So after a 46-yard return on the opening kickoff, the Dartmouth High School defense stands, turn him over, and they'll get their first look on offense here this morning.
Max Farah reaching up again. Max Farah out injured, I wanted to say today. That's another loss that the Indians have had. But the quarterback here, Gordon, he reaches up again. I think it was like 3 or 4 times in a row now. There was a high snap, and he's trying to run the option. Dartmouth Indian defense gave them no opportunity to pitch the ball, and they just went in and threw them for the loss on 4th down.
So with Pacheco out, they're going to have to rely on some of their backup players, and running with the football that time was Cadence Chase. And he was tripped up after he picked up a first down. Now they're going to mark him just short. They say he stepped out along the far sideline. Give him a gain of 9.
So that was a nice run on 1st down. Turning on the Jets and the speed down the sideline, beating the defense, beating the cornerback, setting up a very nice 2nd down and 2 for Dartmouth.
Ellis is an experienced quarterback, 2-year starter. And here he hands it off up the middle, and running with the football that time was Ethan Marks. And Marks is going to be just short. It'll bring up 3rd down and less than a yard.
Opportunity here for the Fairhaven Blue Devil defense to do the same thing the Indians did. Did want to indicate we're not getting the replay here on this particular monitor. So I think that might be a flip of the switch that we could make an adjustment there.
And they hand it off here, and as he got the 1st down, he's got 2 yards and a 1st down. So the Indians pick up their first of the game as Marks once again picks up a gain of 3. The Indians will keep possession of the football.
All right, just straight up the middle. Got to get 1 yard to get the 1st down to keep the chains moving. So they hand off to the inside. The offensive line doing the job, unlike Fairhaven Blue Devils, who could not get the short gain. And the Indians have moved the chains here on their first possession.
And they're going to run it here. Ellis off the option, and Ellis is a good athlete. He's got himself a 1st down, a gain of 20 yards on the play, and another Indian 1st down. Going to mark the ball down here at Fairhaven's 45-yard line.
Well, Ellis, he loves to run the football, and the Indians execute the option so much better than the Blue Devils did. When the Blue Devils tried to do it, the Dartmouth defense kind of swarmed the quarterback, so he wasn't able to get out of the pocket, but the Indians able to execute the fake handoff to the inside. I think it froze some of the defenders, and then off went Ellis for a gain of 20.
Indians going to run the jet sweep. And this is Marks, and Marks is out close to another Indian 1st down. You know, well, we do a lot of games, Paul, from Dartmouth High School, and their uniforms at home, you can't see the numbers. So now we come over here to Fairhaven. They're dressed in blue tops, blue bottoms, and you cannot see one number of any of those kids out on the field for Fairhaven.
Right, but look at the Dartmouth Indian numbers.
Now the Indians on the road, you can see them a mile away. The Fairhaven kids, unfortunately, if you're here at the stadium, you cannot see the numbers. Here's the Indians. They keep the ball on the ground, and they advance it out for a 1st down. Owen Burr made the tackle.
Patrick Crane, the ball carrier.
Patrick Crane picked it up. I want to stand corrected.
Brought down by number 55, Owen Burr.
2nd and short on that. They didn't pick up a 1st down on the play prior to that. So it's 1st and 10 Indians now at the Fairhaven High School 35-yard line.
Going to be a little demoralizing here. I know we're early in the game, but Fairhaven to get that field position and not do anything with it. And then the Indians basically take the ball deep in enemy territory, and they are moving the chains. 3 1st downs in a row.
And before this play gets off, going to have motion called against the Indians.
That's a false start penalty on the offense. Dartmouth.
So that'll back them up 5. Again, happy Thanksgiving to one and all. And I'll tell you what's very disappointing. You and I have covered high school athletics for over 25 years. The crowd here today is woeful for a Thanksgiving Day game. The fans along the far side, the Dartmouth fans, there's not 100 of them. In the old days, it'd be 5,000. This is the way society's gone, I guess. There's just not much interest. Here's Ellis off the ball fake. Ellis sneaking his way, still on his feet. Cracks it down to the 30-yard line. A solid run there of 6 yards. Isaiah Lopez made the tackle on the Indian quarterback.
Enjoyable watching this one. Look, he was almost down. He had his hand on the turf, but he kept his knee off the turf and ended up picking up another 7-8 yards. What a run by that young man, number 11, the senior, Nolan Ellis, who actually became the starting quarterback when his older brother was injured a few years back. So he's got a lot of varsity experience under his belt.
Indians are spreading them out, Paul. Usually they have that diamond look on offense. Most of this game they've come out in the spread offense 4 wide. There's off the ball fake. Ellis got a man open, and it's in and out of the hands of Eric Vieira. Owen Sabula had a shot at it in the Fairhaven secondary. Couldn't come down with it.
Nearly intercepted.
Eric Vieira, one of the more dangerous wide receivers here for Dartmouth, and he was open down the middle, but Fairhaven did a nice job. They kind of cut across and put their position in the passing lane, and Sabula, he almost picked that off. And that's what Fairhaven needs. Fairhaven needs to win the game as the underdog. They need mistakes by Dartmouth. They need turnovers, they need penalties, and they need a break here or there to give the Indians a run for it.
Indians come out once again 4 wide on this 3rd down and 6. And they run the jet sweep, and they have running room out to the far side. And still running with the football with a beautiful gain is Cadence Chase. Sabula finally knocked him out of bounds, but there is a flag down, and we have a hold against Dartmouth High School. So that'll bring that first down run. It'll back up the Indians.
Big break here for Fairhaven because the Indians looked like they were knocking on the door to get in the end zone on their first drive, and this was a nice run down the side, but the holding penalty will bring it back. This is what happens when, you're a team like Fairhaven, you're a 1-win team. Dartmouth is a 3-win team, but of course the Indians play a much tougher schedule, a much more advanced schedule, Division I schedule, so the Indians still come in today as heavy favorites, even though they have only won 3 games this year. But this is the kind of thing that the Indians are going to, or Fairhaven is going to need in order to give Dartmouth a run for it today on Thanksgiving.
Here's Ellis. Good time, pumps, here comes the rush. Avoids the first set of tacklers, and that's about it. It's going to be out for a gain or 2, but that's going to be well short of what he was looking for. Dela Cruz
Number 11,
finally
Nolan
made
Ellis
the stop on
keeper.
Ellis. It'll be 4th down, Paul, and 9.
Down by number 72.
Well, Fairhaven did a good job getting in the pocket. I mean, it looked like Ellis had
Torres.
time for a moment, but then they crowded him around. The pocket kind of collapsed. But having said that, Ellis did a great job getting up the middle for about 3 or 4. It looked like he was going to lose yardage, and he still managed to duck under and get a lot more yardage than he really should have.
Fourth and 9 here for the Indians. This is their first possession of the ball game. Ellis, 3-step drop, looks near side. Had a man, and it's broken up. Broken up by Reese Antunes.
Number 9, Tawana Estrella, the intended
Tawana
receiver.
Estrella
Pass broken up by number 9, Reese Antunes, and that'll
was
turn
the
it over
intended
on downs.
receiver, and Fairhaven turns Dartmouth over on downs.
All right, that was a great job there by Antunes. He came across and basically hit
32-yard line.
Dartmouth's Estrella right when the ball arrived, timed it out perfect so that he wouldn't end up with a defensive pass interference penalty. And that was a big stop there for Fairhaven, as it looked like the Indians were going to march down the field and into the end zone. But that holding penalty really killed the Indians.
Fairhaven comes out in 5 wide, and they're going to run the jet sweep to the far side. The Indians stretch them out, and here comes a flag down as well, as Owen Sabula was the ball carrier.
Loss on the play, but there's a flag on the field.
Eric Vieira was there defensively for the Indians, and the
That'll be
Indians.
holding on the Blue Devils.
Tawana Estrella is telling the fans here on the near side it's going against the Blue Devils. Look along the Dartmouth sideline. Coach
Illegal
Rick
block
White
to the back on
done a
Blue
great
Devils,
job
but
with the
that
program.
penalty is declined.
And Rick has decided on the loss of 2 to decline the penalty. 2nd and 12. This is Fairhaven's second possession of the game. I'm Jim Thompson alongside Paul Santos. Andrew Thompson up here doing the spotting this morning. Again, happy
Bring up 2nd and
Thanksgiving
13.
to one and all from a chilly stadium here in Fairhaven. And the quarterback gets rid of it early, and Eric Vieira was there for the Indians
Number 12, Peter Joseph. the
to break
intended
that
receiver.
up. Peter Joseph the intended receiver. Paul will bring up 3rd down and 12.
Well, Fairhaven, they're trying to mix it up a little bit here. They're throwing the short pass, which generally would be a high percentage pass play. And that one falls incomplete. So, you're looking at this game right now. I know it's early on, but you always look at the line of scrimmage, who's winning at the line of scrimmage. And you can see that the Indians have an advantage. When they're running the ball, a lot more opportunities for large gains. Fairhaven has not really been able to move the ball at all on the ground. I mean, they're talking about 1-yard gains and 2-yard gains, and you're going to have to turn that around if they're going to pull off the upset here against the Indians.
It is a stiff wind as that play is going to be blown dead right from the very get-go as Fairhaven, the 2 receivers on the near side, both jumped the gun, so that'll back them up another 5. And a 3rd and 12 goes to 3rd and 17. And one thing we haven't talked about, Paul, if the staff at DCTV can get a shot of that American flag in the far end zone, it must be blowing maybe 12, 15, 16 miles an hour here.
That's a 5-yard
right, and that's
penalty,
creating
but
2
it's
things. Number one, it's a wind chill factor for all of us that are at the game here, so it feels like it's about 15 degrees lower than it actually is. But secondly, for Fairhaven, going against the wind right now, so on this 3rd down situation, a passing situation, it's going to be tough throwing against the wind.
Indians playing 4 deep in the secondary. And they get it out quickly and they complete it, but this is going to go nowhere. They're going to pick up the penalty yardage, but that's about it.
To number 12,
Cadence Chase
brought down by number
made
24.
to stop, but it's going to bring up 4th down, and Fairhaven's going to have to punt the football
Cadence
away.
Chase.
Fairhaven had to go to the pass play there, no question about it. The Indians kind of gave him the underneath pass. Fairhaven was hoping to have a high percentage pass play there and then maybe carry the ball, break a tackle for the 1st down, so it didn't happen. So Fairhaven, 2 possessions and out, and we'll get to see Dartmouth's 2nd possession in a moment.
Estrella and Vieira back deep, and it's a high snap. Here comes the rush, and he gets it off, but it's a short punt. The Indians got to pick it up. Estrella picks it up smartly, and he's got running room. And he's advanced it down inside the 25-yard line. Let's go now to a senior spotlight.
Tawana Estrella receives the punt.
All right, replay first, I guess. This Estrella changed our plans. Watch the way he takes us on a hop. It's like a baseball player, like picking the ball up on one hop in the outfield, and he says, hey, they're going to let me take it on a hop? I'm gone, baby. Right into enemy territory. And look at this field position for the Indians. I mean, if you're Fairhaven, you're thinking, oh, man, how are we going to stop these guys with this field position?
Well, Estrella's got some hops. He's a basketball player. And a pretty good athlete as well. The Indians just going to turn it off and run it right up the gut. That's Ethan Marks. And Marks is still pushing the pile for a gain of 7. Look at all the players stacked up there. The whole interior defense of Fairhaven. But Cibula was there first to eventually get him down. But Paul, a solid run of 8 on 1st down.
Yeah, the Indians, you can tell they're moving the ball very successfully against this Fairhaven defense, wearing them down. And if this continues, I mean, the Indians are really going to almost feel like they're unstoppable. They're just moving the ball and coming off the ball great at the line of scrimmage.
And here's the Indian quarterback, Ellis. He cuts it back inside, and Ellis is down and in for an Indian touchdown.
For Dartmouth.
The first points of the ball game.
So that's about a 17-yard run for Ellis as he breaks it to the far side. And he does a great job executing the ball. Look at the cameraman is following the running back on that replay, but then picks up Ellis as he comes around the far side. Do a great job on camouflaging what's going to happen. And, when you've got the advantage at the line, it's that extra second that the defense freezes and thinks the ball is going to the inside. But Ellis takes off, uses his speed, his senior experience, and carries it into the end zone for the first touchdown of the day.
Taradash in for the point after touchdown. He knocks that right onto Route 6.
Good.
And the Indians, with 1:47 to go, have the lead at 7-0. We'll look on one more time.
Yeah, great job there by the quarterback, Nolan Ellis. These seniors come into the game. This is his last game along with many of the other seniors. And they come into this game. This is the last time they'll suit up with the Dartmouth green and really want to come in here and take it to Fairhaven. From the Fairhaven point of view, they're looking at this like, hey, if they can pull off the upset here in front of their home fans, it's like almost a borderline winning the Super Bowl. But so far, it looks like the Indians are dominating, and They're into the end zone at 7-0 here in the first.
You know, Rudy loves a lot of trick plays. He likes the halfback option, all kind of crazy offensive plays he runs on Thanksgiving morn. But one thing that's going to put the nix to that, Paul, is this wind that's constantly blowing here at a pretty good rate of speed. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of successful passing in this game as the Indians kick it short down here to the 25-yard line, and Fairhaven's going to advance it up across the 35 to the 36-yard line. We'll have it 1st and 10. Baron Dutra made the tackle for the Indians on special teams.
Senior
and now
spotlight.
we're going to go what to us?
Yes.
Does that mean it's the 4th year of high school? We're on their way to college.
My favorite memory from DHS is scoring the game-winning touchdown against Durfee on my birthday. It's a pretty big deal to me because it's been going on for around 100 years, so it's one of the biggest games of the year. Just go to college, graduate college, and be successful.
This is my first year, so I transferred, and playing on the new field to get my first touchdown. It's been going on for 100 years. I've been watching it since I've been like a little kid, and I want to win. Go to trade school and be an electrician.
So when he says he's been watching, you think he's been watching us all these years, or you think he was at the game?
No, I think when he says he's been watching, watching and listening, maybe turning the sound down, maybe a little bit of both.
Well, we were away. Fairhaven had a motion penalty, and that backed them up 5. And on the second down play, Jake Gonsalves had an opportunity to pick that off, couldn't hold on to it.
Broken up by
Well, this is the second time that we've seen Fairhaven try to pass the ball down the middle, but the Dartmouth Indian defenders, defensive backs, the safeties are coming to the middle and reading it well, and there's been a couple of times where the Indians almost pulled off an interception.
Stand corrected, it's 2nd down at 15. He's got time. Pocket breaks down, he looks to run it here, escapes a tackler, falls forward out to the 37-yard line is Cam Gordon. Jacob Medeiros made the tackle on that gain of 5. It'll bring him 3rd down and long.
Not a lot of options here for Gordon. He looks downfield, doesn't see anyone, but I think right here, if he had just taken off at full speed, he would have been better off. He tried to tuck it back to the middle. Of course, he's going to make that split-second decision, but it looked like there was more real estate down the sideline. If he had taken off, maybe he could have gotten more, but again, credit the Indians. The pocket broke down, forced them to run, and now it's a 3rd down and 10 here for Fairhaven.
Indians once again playing 4 deep defensively. Gordon faces a stiff wind, and here comes the rush. Gets away with it, and finally trips up under his own feet back at the 29-yard line. Jake Gonsalves was in there for the Indians. So that offensive series for Fairhaven just went backwards. Now they're 4th to punt. They trail by 7. And this wind is picking up. I'm looking at the flag now, Paul. It is straight out. It's a chilly day here. The field is very slippery from the heavy rains we had last evening.
Very muddy out there, as you can see, looking down at the field. And, well, over in Dartmouth, we don't have to worry about that anymore, that beautiful field that was installed. And what a beautiful facility. And I understand that, you know, Phase 2, we're going to be the direct beneficiaries of Phase 2.
We are, but before we go to that, we have a young man that spent 4 years at Dartmouth High School, and we're going to get a chance to meet him.
My favorite memory from DHS is beating Stang junior year. It's been going on for a long time. This year we can finally tie up the all-time record, so that's a goal. Graduate college.
To grind in the weight room, break down film, and just get stronger for next year. It's been going on forever. I used to watch it as a kid, so it means a lot playing in it. Go to college, and then get my master's in the future. That's just about it.
Welcome back, everybody. We have the first quarter in the books. The Indians lead by a score of 7-0, and Fairhaven's going to have to punt this football away to the Indians, and the Indians are going to get good field position, Paul, providing Fairhaven gets this punt away.
Yeah, this is the third time Fairhaven has possessed the ball and the third time that nothing has come of it. And as you said, now they're punting into the wind. And the Indians got a couple of dangerous players back there to return it.
The Indians almost blocked it. It's a short kick. Indians are going to let it roll. Eric Vieira says, why not? We're going to get the ball at the 44-yard line. No sense picking it up and advancing it. The Indians will have the football to start the second quarter. And they have the lead at 7-0. You know,
That's the end of the first quarter.
I've talked to several coaches in the area. And, you know, the future of high school football, something to discuss at some point. There's a lot of coaches in the area. I'm looking at Fairhaven. They probably have 26 kids dressed. I look across the way at Dartmouth High School. They might have 35, 40 kids. 10 years ago, they probably had 75 kids. Fairhaven probably had 35 or 40 kids. But we do a lot of games, and we see the rosters are way down. You folks at home that might have played high school football, or your kids did going back a decade ago and beyond, don't be surprised in the very near future that you see perhaps a Stang Dartmouth team, an Old Rochester Fairhaven team, a Durfee Westport team. Don't be surprised. It's coming our way in the near future. There's just not enough kids playing football. And they do it around the state now, and they do it in other sports now. But it's a distinct possibility in the very near future that you see regionalized football.
Right, and there's a number of reasons we can get into that too. You know, less kids playing, a lot of parents concerned about injuries, the question of whether or not, you know, the younger players should not be hitting. Maybe you can play football without having the contact until you get to a certain age. A lot of things at work there. And, of course, a changing society. Kids are more involved in other activities. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but it is a possibility.
Well, here comes Chase here to the near side off that jet sweep. And Cadence gets it up to about midfield. A solid gain of 9 on the play.
This is just a sophomore right here. Sophomore running backs are going to see a lot of this young man over the next few years as he takes the ball around the side. And again, another good example of, you know, when the Indians have the ball compared to when Fairhaven has the ball, totally different. Dartmouth able to move the ball pretty easily. Big gains, 7, 8, 9, 10 all the time. Fairhaven gets the ball, barely able to get past the line of scrimmage. So the Indians have dominated so far and look for that to continue.
Second and short here for the Indians. They just turn and give it to the big back, Ethan Marks, and Marks is out close to the first down. Now the Indians' ball coming into this game, Dylan Pacheco, the outstanding running back, as the Indians do pick up the first, out for this game. But the whole offense was based around him, and a lot of times they'd run that jet sweep and fake it and hand the ball to Dylan. This game, there's been 4 or 5 jet sweeps that have handed it to the sweep man.
Yeah, right, exactly, and it's been successful. It's too bad because that's obviously would have been the last game for Dylan Pacheco as a senior. You hate to see that happen.
Here's Estrella, and he's got running room down the far sideline. They're not going to catch him. Estrella's going to take that in for the distance from 48 yards out. His second score of the ball game. Off the option. There's the Indian quarterback. Score number 2 for him. And he's just gotten better and better as the season has progressed as we look on.
Same thing as the first touchdown, right? Quarterback Ellis fakes it and turns on the jet. Look at there's nobody there. He just saw the opening and ran with it.
You could have walked that in.
I know about that.
That back and off. Terradash into attempt the point after touchdown. I think if you're a kid, you like want to boot it through one of the windows across the street.
Yeah, right. Just, you know, kind of show off.
Yeah. Here's the kick, and the kick is no good. So the clock is stopped here at the stadium with 10 minutes and 44 seconds to go. In the second quarter, the Indians on top by a score of 13-0. And isn't it nice for Nolan Ellis? Been with the program for a while, as you had mentioned earlier. His brother got hurt when he was a sophomore, came in, done a great job for Coach White. But before we talk more about the Indian quarterback, it's time for a
Senior Spotlight.
favorite memory is probably my first start as a sophomore. I scored my first passing touchdown and rushing touchdown against Bridgewater Raynham. It means everything to me. I've never lost to Fairhaven in my career, so this is a big one. We want to get a final win as our seniors, so this is a huge, huge game. My whole family goes to my Nana's house, and we all eat dinner there and watch football. Plan to attend either Springfield College or Bridgewater to study physical therapy.
Turkey always tastes better. They've won 3 in a row since the kid's been in the program. Will the turkey taste better his senior year?
Looking
we'll
good.
know in about another hour and a half. This is Sabula, the do everything man for Fairhaven, and he advances it out across the 35 and close to the 40-yard line. Well, Fairhaven will have it now, trailing by 2 scores, and now the wind is perhaps in their favor. And it's still whipping here at a pretty good clip.
I was thinking sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. We were talking about Ellis, and we're like, well, let's go to the senior spotlight. And who is it about? It was about Ellis. We didn't really know that.
No, but
just kind of the way it happened. Oh, he knew it. Okay, all right, got it.
Yeah, they try to throw it here to the new side. Now they do, and it's nearly cut along the near sideline here. Peter Crane was in there for the Indians. Sabula almost caught that as the Fairhaven Blue Devil quarterback was going down. We'll take a look.
You know, it almost looked like Sabula was surprised it came because, you know, Chase was, Corden rather, was falling down, and it was like the second or third attempt to get the ball away. I don't know if Sabula was thinking, okay, he's sacked, and then all of a sudden, as he was going down, here comes the ball. And Sabula, from his point of view, has slipped through his fingertips, and it falls incomplete. It could have been a pretty good gain down the sideline had he been able to bring that in.
5 wideouts, empty backfield. 2nd and 10. And looking, throwing, deflected, and picked off by the Indians. What a play by the Indians, and that's Gonsalves. And Gonsalves takes a wallop, and a late flag comes in here at the 40-yard line. But what a great defensive play by Jake. And he's a happy young man.
Yeah, he's a senior, and he did a fine job there. The defense kind of crowding that middle. We're looking down and seeing which way the flag is going to go. It is going to go against the Indians on a hold. But so it happened after the interception.
It was a block in the back against the Indians. But what an athletic play by Gonsalves, who's not a secondary player.
He had to really concentrate, as you see there on the replay. And, you know, Gordon, he looked to the right. He had an open man in the flat, but then he thought, you know what, I'm going down the middle for the big gain here. The wind at my back and so forth. But, again, it almost felt like a matter of time. The Indians have had maybe 2 or 3 times where the ball was almost intercepted because of the way they've crowded the defense, especially in the middle. And that time, the interception actually happened.
I think they caught Jacob Medeiros at the very end of that play. So the ball is still in the hands of Ellis. And Ellis is free again down the sideline. And Ellis is going to run it in for a touchdown, but there's a flag back here at the 40-yard line.
Number 11, Nolan Ellis runs it back, but there is a flag on the play. There is a flag on the play.
And if this stands, that'll be Ellis's 3rd score of the game, but I have a funny feeling this is coming back.
Could be a hold against the Indians, but take a look at the second effort here by Ellis. The ball was in the dirt, right? And it was all mud down there and everything. And it is, in fact, going against Dartmouth. But the ball was in the mud. He had to go down and get it. He picks it up. He looks like he's going to be sacked or thrown for a loss of 1. All of a sudden he takes off and outruns everyone.
Well, you could hear all the fans here say ball. And it was, well, we'll take a look, and you folks at home can decide for yourself.
Yeah, we're talking about the field not being of great condition, but he kind of picks it up and gets by that first crowd of Fairhaven defenders, and then look, he's running down the sideline. So a big break for Fairhaven with the holding penalty against the Indians, keeps them 2 scores down. I mean, the next score from Fairhaven's point of view has to be a Fairhaven score, so keeping Dartmouth off the board right there as they're into the second quarter now, huge. And the Indians will get another opportunity at it here as there's a timeout on the field.
And what happens on that play is, I think it even had us a little discombobulated. The ball's on the ground and he's trying to pick it up. He's advancing it a little bit. He finally picks it up. And if you're a defender, you're just kind of frozen. You're not sure, you know, you're too far away from the football. You're not sure whether he's going to pick it up and throw it. So you just freeze, and that's what happened there. He just picked it up and ran, and the Fairhaven kids were just standing around in high school football now. So that penalty happened right around midfield as Nolan started to take off on that side. So it'll bring up first down, and we'll call it 7. And a new Indian quarterback in there as well. That's Will Kelly.
So Kelly getting some snaps here, only a sophomore. We'll have to take a look at Ellis and see whether or not he's banged up or what the issue is. I see him on the sideline there kind of bending over, gathering himself. So hopefully he didn't tweak anything on that last run.
And Kelly hands it off on the 2nd down and 3. Indians get back to the line of scrimmage. Ethan Mox was the ball carrier.
Again on the carry, brought down by number 60, Gabriel Murray.
Gabriel Murray made the stop. I don't know if Ellis is gassed along the sideline or not, but after that long touchdown that went for naught, he is out of the ball game, and Kelly's in. And there he takes off. And Kelly's still on his feet. They're chasing him, and Kelly is finally taken down deep inside Fairhaven territory. Peter Joseph was the last guy to have a shot at him and finally got him from behind as we look on.
There's a run in excess of 10 yards, and he did a great job with the play fake because watch the person who got the play fake got tackled in the backfield by the defensive lineman. So talk about fooling the defenders. And off went Kelly, and how does that feel as the other sophomore quarterback, backup quarterback to Ellis? And you don't want to see Ellis out of the game for a few snaps, but you get your opportunity, and number 12 takes advantage.
Kelly turns, hands it off, and the Indians got another solid run of 7 yards.
Now, you know, the backup quarterback, you got to know the plays, you got to know the system, you got to study just as hard as the first guy. You never know when your number will get called. Next man up. Hopefully Ellis is okay and we'll get back into the game, but from Kelly's point of view, a young sophomore gets the ball on Thanksgiving morning and has a huge run right there in excess of 40 yards.
We don't have a very good vantage point here, but it looks like the ball's around the 10-yard line. And not very much on that game. It will bring up 3rd down and 3 for the Indians. Sabula once again on the tackle.
Will Kelly.
Andrew's telling me that this kid Kelly's the JV quarterback, and the coaches love him, Paul, and you can see why.
Yeah, he looks good. It looks like the next couple of years are in good hands. You know, it all starts with the quarterback being able to be a good leader out there, and the Indians have had their share over the past few years. Well, Ellis is back in.
Yeah, Nolan saw that. Said, Coach, put me in. I'm feeling better. And here he is. Throws, got a man wide open, and that is an Indian touchdown.
Kelly's pass is complete.
That's the Patrick Crane.
Patrick Crane for the Dartmouth touchdown.
And he was wide open. This option is really surprising for Haven. Ellis is off the option, scored 2 long touchdowns, and now off the option, you come up to defend them, you just throw it over their heads, and the Indians have their 3rd score of the game.
Yeah, they've done a great job fooling the defenders as to who has the ball. In fact, that long run by Kelly was a good example because they actually tackled the player that the ball was faked to. And look at Ellis. Just, you can tell a quarterback that's been in there for a while. He just looks so comfortable, so seasoned. Gets the ball off to Crane. And Patrick Crane, who was just a sophomore too, he catches the ball and goes into the end zone. So there's 2 sophomores right there. Crane getting the reception, right? And Kelly filling in for Ellis.
There's Ellis on the 2-point conversion. They throw it wide open, and they go for 2 into the hands of a wide open Indian receiver, Miles Silva. And that was too easy, Paul. The Indians now, with 7.5 to go in the first half, have a lead of 19-0. Oh, excuse me, a score of 21-0. Let's go to another senior spotlight.
My favorite memory from DHS is playing on the new field and scoring my first touchdown. It's been going on for 100 years. We haven't lost to Fairhaven in the 3 years that I've been here, at least. And we just want to go out and we want to play hard and win. I hopefully would like to attend Endicott College to get my master's in physical therapy or biology or something like that.
Underclassmen, stick together, whether it's hanging out or in the weight room, build up that chemistry. We got to keep that win streak alive, and I know a lot of kids in Fairhaven that I don't want bragging to me, so got to win. College and possibly study marine biology.
Well, the Indians with a big lead here in Fairhaven. They're returning the kick, and Kelly on special teams makes the tackle out here at the Fairhaven 45-yard line. It was great to see Dylan Pacheco there. I can't say enough kind words about the young man. I don't know him, but I've done about 25 years of Dartmouth High School football. The record of 3-8 for the Indians, not good, but they might be winless if it wasn't for him. Just a hard-working, tough kid, and I'm very sad for him that he can't finish out his career here on Thanksgiving morning. But he was the entire Indian offense along with a couple of other guys, but he sure was the team leader. As that play goes for a shot gain, Miles Silva came in along with Estrella. Joseph is in the game now, Paul, as the quarterback.
3 on the play, bringing up 2nd and 7.
Oh, we've seen 4 quarterbacks in the game so far here on Thanksgiving Day, unusual. I was looking at Sabula. Sabula, he took a beating on that last play, didn't he? I mean, he got hit from like 3 different angles and really took a hurting.
So Gordon has switched out to wide receiver with his team trailing by a score of 21-0. Here's Joseph. He's looking for running room, and he gets it down to the Indian 48-yard line, where he's wrapped up there by Caden Chase. It'll bring up 3rd down and a couple.
By number 38, Patrick Crane.
So Joseph getting an opportunity to move the ball here for Fairhaven, maybe changing things up a little bit, moving some players around, and the Indians defense that time giving up a pretty good gain, so it'll be a 3rd and 2, so an opportunity for Haven to move the chains. They haven't done a lot of moving the chains so far today on Thanksgiving Day.
High snap. Quarterback takes it, dives forward, but he's going to be short.
Joseph is tripped up in the back.
Well, he faked the ball over to Gordon, but kept it, and there was nothing doing in between the tackles, and brings up a 4th and short, and no decision here. They'll try to get that first down.
Bring up 4th down.
So Joseph's look at 4th down here now, and a yard to go. High snap. And the Indians are in there defensively. They're going to hold them here on 4th down and turn Fairhaven over. As that play went nowhere, as Sabula was met as soon as he was handed the football. Jake Gonsalves making the tackle for the Indians. And this Indian defense, Paul, been stellar all morning long.
Done a great job in that time there. I think the Indians were kind of keying on that inside run, although I was looking at the far side. Almost looked like that wide receiver. He was one-on-one. If he could have just, got the ball out over there, maybe a quick slant or something, just to try to move the chains, to try to, change the feel out there. But they go with the inside run. The Indians read it well, and it's like a stone wall as the Indians turn them over again on downs.
Ellis remains in at quarterback, and he's had success on this play. The little option. This time Fairhaven corrals him, gets him to the ground.
Nolan Ellis, quarterback keeper. Brought down by number 52, Daniel LaCruz.
And LaCruz made the tackle. Didn't look like much ball, but picked up 4.
Yeah, even when the Indians look like they're they're struggling a little bit to get a gain. It still turns out to be 3 and 4, which, Fairhaven would take a 4-yard gain.
Up 2nd and 7.
And I'm looking back here, Fairhaven's had the ball 4 times and really hasn't been able to do anything at all in any of these possessions. And they started the game, with that nice run on special teams, got the ball in enemy territory, couldn't do anything, and that kind of set the tone for the game.
Here's the jet sweep. Chase is looking for room. String him out. Caden squares his shoulders and is going to come up a couple yards short of the first down, but a nice run of 4 on the play. Isaiah Thomas along the far side making the tackle for Fairhaven. 3rd and 2 now for the
number
Indians.
24,
This play, you see the Indians run this all the time. If you watch
brought down by number 28,
Dartmouth
Isaiah
Indian
Lopez.
football, one of their favorite plays, practice it all the time, and are successful at it, and they picked up a number of yards. Not enough for the first, but, the way the Indians have moved the ball, feels like a 3rd and 2 is something that,
bring up 3rd
from
down
the Dartmouth
3.
Indian point of view, yeah, we can get this. It's only 2 yards. Plus, we're going into enemy territory, 4 down territory anyway.
Just under 4 minutes to play in the first half. They fake the jet sweep to the far side, and Ellis kept it and got back to the line of scrimmage. So, Coach, right
Number
now,
11,
with the
Nolan
decision
Ellis,
to
the
make,
ball
4th down and a couple.
Ball. No gain on the play.
And he's going to punt the football away. Ellis is the punter, and he's dropping
He'll bring
back
up 4th down.
at his 40-yard line to kick it away, and he'll be kicking into a pretty good crosswind here.
Yeah, that ball is about the 44-yard line, so perhaps not deep enough into enemy territory that you would go for it. And credit Fairhaven's defense. They did a good job keying on number 11 and held them to a 1-yard gain.
High snap, Nolan. It's a spinning, side-winding kick. That didn't get
One
very
goes out of
high,
bounds
didn't
at
go
around the
very
30.
far, but in this wind, not so bad. So Fairhaven now, Paul.
It'll be 1st and 10 Blue Devils.
21-0 deficit for Fairhaven. Other than the opening kickoff, they haven't had much to talk about.
No, absolutely. They've had the ball 4 times. This will be their 5th time, unable to move the chains with any kind of success, or as the Indians have, and they're in a very deep hole. And, weather-wise, Jim, we were talking about the weather. This has been a weird day. We first got here, it was kind of rainy. Then the sun came out. I'm like, all right, that's good. We're breaking the clouds, sun's coming out. And then all of a sudden, it turned dark again, and it's been cloudy ever since.
And it's drizzling. Here's Fairhaven on the rollout pass, looking. Indians now going to look for him, and Nolan Ellis plants him after a gain of 2.
Peter Joseph, the ball carrier, brought down by number 11.
Joseph did
Nolan
all he
Ellis.
could to try to make something out of the play. He kept going back and forth with the juke steps left and right. And at first, it looked like he was going to pass the ball. The ball
Gain of about
not
3
able
on
to
the
be
play.
put up in the air, although the wind is now at his
2nd
back.
down and 7.
So we'll see what the plan is. At some point, maybe you just throw the deep one. Throw caution to the wind, so to speak. But
Do you have to mention the word wind?
yeah, caution to the wind. Throw caution to the heavy wind.
See Doc Noon's
Oh, there's
down
Doc
there.
Noon's down there. How you doing,
Noons.
Doc?
You know all the politicians.
Well, that's because I'm hanging around with you.
Yeah, well.
All the heavy hitters in town.
Well, we have a timeout here with just under
Timeout, Blue
2
Devils.
minutes and 20 seconds to go. Now, the people have been following us on Thanksgiving over the years. My wife got in big trouble once again this year. She's an attorney. And every
no.
Thanksgiving we have pigeon. And this year somebody tipped off Mayor Mitchell, who's a friend of mine, a Dartmouth High grad, by the way. And they nabbed her feeding the pigeons. But working on the waterfront, the people I know, if you know what I mean, they went and got 4 beauties. So that's what we're having for Thanksgiving. I don't know what you're having.
You got to know.
But that's if she gets out of jail, because she was arrested.
She's going to represent herself?
Yeah, well,
Have a
yes.
fool
I
for a
hope she
client.
can talk her way out of it.
Well, I'm sure you'll be well fed in a few hours. Kick back and enjoy a nice afternoon with family and friends. We wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving around the town of Dartmouth and along the south coast.
Well, here's what we talk about with Rudy. And that play loses the Medeiros,
Number 12, Peter
the
Joseph, the
tackler,
ball
but that's
carrier.
the old double handoff, reverse. Didn't go very far.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think if you're Fairhaven, you really got nothing to lose by
Loss of about
coming
2
out with
on
the trick plays. Maybe you can pull something off, get a big play, get a touchdown, just to kind of change the feel going into the second half. But We'll see what they come up with here on the 3rd and 7.
I think Rick feels very comfortable with a 21-0 lead. I was thinking maybe after that play calling a timeout. Fairhaven's not moving the ball very well now. They're looking at a 3rd and 9. They may go 5 wide. They get it out quickly, and the ball falls incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down and long here for the Blue Devils.
And tunes the intended receiver.
Yeah, when you're watching the
Pass broken up by
meteorologists,
number
they always
22, Miles Silva.
talk about the wind chill factor.
Yes,
know.
yes.
I think this is a good example because isn't it like 45 degrees or something? But it feels like it's about 25.
Yeah, it is freezing here.
Yeah, why? But it's not really. If you look at the thermometer, it's not. I mean, we've been out here when it was 10 degrees before.
Who has a thermometer? Everything's digital. What do you mean a thermometer?
Well,
what are you talking about?
Digital thermometer.
A digital thermometer.
Remember when you were sick, your mom would come and put that, the old-fashioned thermometer under your
My
tongue?
mother was glad when I was sick. Here's a high snap. Line drive kick. The Indians field it, and they're going to advance it. They have some running room here. This is Estrella, and a flag comes down on the near side, and Estrella advances it out to about the 48-yard line, but they'll walk that back.
On the play.
You see Estrella, definitely a competitor, right? He wanted to return that thing into the end zone, and when he got tripped up by his feet, he got tripped up and got knocked down, and then he was banging the football like, oh, man, if I had just gotten around the corner.
It would have gone for naught as the referee comes here to the near side, and he's got himself a holding call against Dartmouth High School.
Prior to the return,
so a little breeze picking up right there.
Oh, the breeze now is coming right at us, which if you're at home is blowing toward the high school.
What is that? We talked about a thermometer that measures the temperature. What's that thing that measures the wind? That's a it's not a barometer. That's something else. We need a thermometer, a barometer, and a
and a thing that checks the wind. Yeah,
whatever that thing is.
The thing that goes around spins like really fast.
Yeah,
that thing.
No, that thing points the direction. I don't think it gives you the miles per hour or the knots. You should know this, right?
I should know this. Here's Ellis. Ellis still on his feet. He's out for a gain of 9. With just over a minute to play here in the second quarter. Sabula.
Number 33, Owen
and this kid Sabula, he does it all defensively for Coach Bulger.
Yeah, no complaints from his point of view. I mean, on the scoreboard a little bit, but he's definitely leaving it all on the field, as you would expect. Oh!
If you're Ethan Marks on that second down carry, you say, who forgot to carry out their assignment as he's planted
number 34, Ethan Marks.
In the backfield.
Stop for a loss.
That was Camber that made the tackle.
I was going to say.
Sets up the Indians at 3rd and 7.
Well, the Indians are going to win the game, right? Fairhaven is probably not going to win this game, but that felt good if you were that kid.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
He just went in there, and he said, this guy's going down, and he's going down hard. So even though we're not going to win the game, at least I got that one play.
This may be the last play of the half. And this is Chase. He's looking for running room. He's got it. He's down the far sideline. He's still on his feet, but the clock is going to run out here in the first half. But a good first half it was for the Indians as they'll go into the locker room with the lead at 21-0. So you find folks at home, pour yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. Myself, Andrew, and Paul, we're just going to keep bundling up as the wind continues to swirl here in Fairhaven. It's drizzling now. Our monitor has got raindrops on it. Paul's got his hood on. Andrew's got his hood up, and I'm going to put mine up, and we're going to go to break. We're going to watch the Dartmouth High School award-winning band. How about 4 consecutive state championships?
How about that guy, the Bill Belichick of high school bands. Here he comes. BK.
This is his last performance on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, it is.
As Bill's going to hang it up at the end of this year, and what a remarkable career at Dartmouth High School. So Paul and I will be right back with more action. We'll have some senior spotlights for you. Enjoy the halftime show.
My favorite memory is probably making a crazy hit against Milton last year. I usually go down to Florida with my family and have Thanksgiving there. Go to college and major in sports management.
My favorite memory was beating Stang last year at UMass. It was very cold and it was just a very fun experience. Go down to Old Rochester to go eat with my family, and that's it. Hopefully to play college basketball.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the football game between your Fairhaven Blue Devils and the Dartmouth High School Indians. The Dartmouth High School marching band will perform their parade music and trotter Into the Clouds, followed by our school song, Glory to Dartmouth. Just to give you some information about our high school band, this year we're the U.S. Band's Division V Massachusetts State Champions. We are the New England Scholastic Band Association's Division VI champs. And on November 9th, they became the U.S. Band Division V champs for the 4th year in a row, tying the highest score ever set. That was set back in 2008 with a 98.575. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dartmouth High School Marching Band and Color Guard. and gentlemen of the Dartmouth High School Marching Band and Color Guard. I'm John Nunes, your announcer, and on behalf of the Dartmouth High School football team and band members, thank you for your attendance this morning. Happy Thanksgiving.
The field is yours. Fans, give it up for your Fairhaven Blue Devil Marching Band. Yeah. The margin of error is at least
Welcome back, everybody, as we get set to call all the second half action here from Fairhaven. Score at the half is the Indians 21, Fairhaven High School nothing. Paul Santos, Coach White's going to be happy with the play of his quarterback.
Yeah, Alice, he had a great first half here, and it's great to see on Thanksgiving Day, the last game of the senior's career. A 17-yard Ellis touchdown run in the first quarter gave the Indians the lead. The extra point kicked by Oliver Taradash. Then a 48-yard run by Ellis to make it 13-0, and then a 5-yard touchdown pass from Ellis to Crane. And a 2-point conversion by Miles Silva. And Miles Silva is a senior also, so good for him. And it is a 21-0 lead. And how about the Dartmouth defense just shutting Fairhaven down? Fairhaven not able to move the ball at all for the entire first half. Even after the opening kickoff, the special teams taking the ball deep into Dartmouth territory, the Indians shut them down, and they've given nothing on defense since then.
Well, the weather here in the first half has not been pleasant for the fans here, and most certainly the staff at DC TV. We have a list of people we want to talk about in just a minute, but Fairhaven's going to kick the football away here to start the second half. And they're just going to pooch it here to the near side. And Marks is going to return it for the Indians, and he gets across the 25 and out to the 27-yard line where he's dragged down. 34. The Indians will have it 1st and 10 to start the second half.
Receives the ball.
Thanks to all of the great DC TV staff for helping make this game possible here, not only on Thanksgiving Day, but all year long with all the great Dartmouth Indian sports and UMass Dartmouth sports. On camera, Josh Morton, Tyler Gillis, Dan Ferguson, and Quinn Harris. On audio, Mike Moniz. Graphics, Dan Medeiros. On replay, it is Nick Rigo. Our producer is Peter Chase. And directing today's game, Mr. Mike Fernandez.
Oh, we got to get Michael's name in there. 1st and 10 Indians. And it hasn't been a pleasant day for a lot of the staff here at DC TV. The weather conditions have been very difficult as Ellis runs it out here on 1st down and runs right into the arms of Isaiah Lopez.
Well, the barometer is showing the barometric pressure, and it is below 30, which means that's why we have this rain. The thermometer shows something in the 40s, but with the wind chill factor, we're down in the 20s. And for the wind, it's the ammonomena.
Yeah. Okay, you folks at home, go Google that. How do you spell that?
I was afraid if I mispronounce it, it could be really bad.
Yeah, 2nd down and 9 here for Nolan Ellis.
That measures the wind.
There you go. And the Indians have had great success, and here's Marks.
Oh.
And look out, he's going to take it to the house. And the Indians start the third quarter with a 60-yard touchdown run from Ethan Marks.
No flags on the play.
How about that? Marks just takes the ball to the house, and you can feel the fans over here on the Dartmouth side erupt as Marks broke that tackle, and then once he got past that first cluster of players, there was no one in front of him, all real estate all the way. And it's a 60-yard touchdown run, and there he goes. He took it to the right side and then cut back to the left. And look at this right here. It's like plowing through the defense. And look at this. And now nothing but real estate all the way the rest of the way. And the Indians have their 4th touchdown of the day.
We're fortunate to be freezing here right next to the Marks family. And they were screaming that whole time. Good for them. Here's Ellis going for the 2-point conversion. Throws it. And it's intercepted and down by Fairhaven. So with 10:53 to go in the third quarter, the Indians come out and go just about 60, 65 yards for a Marks touchdown. And let's take a timeout. I'm exhausted from calling that play. It's time for an Indian Spotlight.
My favorite memory has to be the laughters with my friends and the coaches. We've been on a long win streak. We haven't lost yet, so I don't want to lose now. I'd like to attend Boston University and study some biology.
Favorite memory, getting my first sack against Attleboro. Go to my grandparents' house, eat some lunch, go home, sleep. Hope to go to college, get my degree in mechanical engineering. Don't skip leg day.
Well, that didn't take long, Paul, for the Indians to come out and really cement this ball game, as Marks has been a big contributor all year long, but Dylan Pacheco got a bulk of the carries, and we're seeing here today Ellis has really performed well, and Marks goes for a long touchdown to start the third quarter, and I think Ricky's feeling really happy about this as Fairhaven coughs it up on the kickoff, and let's see who recovered. They're going to say Fairhaven recovered it.
Number 28, Isaiah Lopez receives.
Well, the Indians are up by 4 touchdowns, and Fairhaven just playing the second half here. They still want to be able to move the ball. They still want to have some success. They still want to get into the end zone. So to have the ball coughed up like that in their first possession would be a disaster. But they managed to cover it, and we'll see if they're able to do anything here on their first possession of the second half.
31.
Joseph in at the quarterback spot to start the third quarter, and they hand it off on a solid run on first down. That's Sabula, the ball carrier.
Sabula, ball carrier.
And a flag comes down, and then another late flag comes down. And the Indians' defense is applauding. So this is going to come back.
Yeah, we talk a lot about turkey on Thanksgiving, and we'll take a look at the replay, see if we can see anything.
We look down at the referee, and he's got a personal foul. That's going to go against Fairhaven.
A little extra shove there. We talk about, the turkey. We talk about the stuffing, but we don't talk about,
pigeon?
Maybe a glass of vino. A little vino, wine.
Oh, wine. Yeah, vino. Well, the Irish we call it vino, and you Portuguese call it. What is it again?
How long have you lived in the South Coast? And I think it's vino. I'm pretty sure it's vino.
Oh. Well, you're the attorney.
So I don't know. Like, do you have
I'm married to one of you.
Yes, I know. What's that like?
Just like it is for your lovely bride, I'm sure. A real pain in the you-know-where. Second down and long. And they hand it off here to the near side. This is Sabula looking for room, and the Indians, Eric Vieira, just shoves him out of bounds along the near sideline.
Sabula, your ball carrier,
pushed
out of bounds.
Well,
Number 14.
I think it's called vino. I just call it.
No, do you have any with dinner? Did you have, as we take a look at this run by?
No, I had some this morning before the game. No, when I had to work, I said, "Who am I working with?" They said, "Santos." I said, "So, pour me a glass."
Well, you get a little stuffing, you get a little turkey, you get a little, cranberry sauce and all that. And then you just
I can't stand cranberry sauce. It jiggles. I can't eat anything that's jiggling. I don't like that. They pour it out of a can.
You don't like anything that jiggles?
No. Don't get me in trouble. Third down and 10. Here's Sabula. He's going to try the near side. Eric Vieira once again lowers his shoulder and gets him to
Sabula,
the
ball
ground.
carrier.
And now,
Number
after that
38,
short
Patrick
gain
Crane
of
on
a
the
couple,
stop.
Fairhaven's looking at fourth down and long. And will Coach Rudy go for it?
Gain of about 5.
It's it's a tough situation because you don't get it. You're really almost handing an opportunity to score to the Indians. On the other hand, you might as well go for it. And that's what they're going to do. See what they come up with. I mean, I think you got to throw like a nice long pass and see if you can make something happen.
They're going to throw it to the far side. Get it out quickly, try to get the run after the catch. The Indians defend it well. They're going to come up a yard short. Jake Gonsalves on the far side made the tackle for the Indians.
Sabula, the receiver, brought down just shy of the first down.
The marker is still showing fourth down.
Blue Devils will turn it over on downs.
So now they're flipping it over and
It'll be first and 10.
thinking maybe there was a mistake on the sideline.
Before the game, the public announcer was begging for people on the chain gang to volunteer, and they've been a little slow all game long across here, but good for them. They volunteered. Perhaps you come with your family and you want to watch your team play on Thanksgiving, and you say, "What the heck, honey? I got to go across the field and help the kids and do the chain." So.
They played the Chain Gang song.
They did. They
did.
You kind of old.
Different Chain Gang. Well, I still know the song. That song predates me, believe it or not.
So does vino. Vino, what do you call it?
Vino.
Oh, yes.
A little glass of vino.
Mm-hmm. First and 10 Indians. And here's Marks again, and this time he runs into the left side of the Fairhaven line. Gang tackle there. It'll be a short gain. It'll be second down and 9 now for the Indians.
Brought down by number 79.
They pretty much had their way. The Indians, Paul, struggled all season long, but as you said earlier in the telecast, they play some really, really good teams. And Fairhaven's a couple of divisions lower. They have a small squad, and the talent is just in favor of the Indians in this game. Where a lot of games they play this year, the talent is on the opposite side of the ball. And here go the Indians again. with another long gainer and a first down.
22, Miles Silva, the ball
Miles
carrier,
Silva
brought down
was
by
the
number
ball
12,
carrier,
Peter
but we
Joseph.
do have
There is a
another
flag
flag
on the
there.
play.
Miles Silver, a senior, he was the receiver on a 2-point conversion, successful one converted by the Indians earlier in the game. Take a look at the senior again while we're sorting out the penalties. He's got more of an opportunity today, as Jim indicated, with the injury to Dylan Pacheco, so he's been carrying the ball
That's
much more
holding
than he
on Dartmouth.
ordinarily would. Penalties against Dartmouth.
When it's this chilly, you just wish the referee with a 27-0 lead would just put that little flag in his pocket and say, let's get the heck out of here.
Yeah, unless it's anything egregious.
Oh, no, Rudy
You want to
Bulger
keep it
is
rolling.
really upset. He's on the field. And why they don't throw a flag on him, I don't know. He just came onto the field and started yelling at the referee. Took his headset off. Started talking to the referee. You think it was pleasantries being exchanged there, Paul?
I thought I heard him yell something about second down. And I think that
I think he was right after all that.
Yeah, the loss of down, so he was right. So
It'll be second
trying to
down.
yell at the referee. So second
And
down
11.
for Dartmouth.
Indians set out 4 wides. Marks the lone runner. And they run the jet sweep the opposite way with Cadence Chase. He cuts it back to the inside, trying to pick up a couple extra yards, and he's out for a solid run of 7, which will bring up 3rd down for the Indians and about 5.
Chase has had a nice game too for Dartmouth. You see a lot of different players getting the call here today, and Cadence has done an
24,
excellent job. You
Cadence
see
Chase,
him
your
here
ball
on
carrier,
one
brought
of
down by number
Dartmouth's favorite
22,
plays, the jet sweep.
Henry
So a very makeable
Ruiz
3rd down and 5 now for
Carrascosa.
Dartmouth. So Jim, are you a dessert guy or are you like a main course guy?
I hate to tell you, I'm both.
You're both.
I love Thanksgiving. My wife, my family loves it, and I go for the old-fashioned squash pie for dessert.
I like that too.
Here's Ellis. Ellis stretching himself. He's got a gain of 7 and a first down.
How about pumpkin pie? That's similar.
Sometimes my wife plays a little trick.
Yeah.
And it's really pumpkin. And she says, how do you like
Number
the squash
11,
pie?
ball carrier, brought
And I
down
go,
by
it's very good.
33,
She goes,
Owen
it's pumpkin.
That's good enough
Well,
for
they look
Dartmouth's first
similar.
down.
They're similar. They're both squishy.
Yeah.
So here's the replay, and it doesn't jiggle either.
Oh, how can you people at home eat that? It comes out of a can. You throw it, it just sits there like. You remember the Slinky when you were a kid?
Yeah, when you slice it too, it looks like a Slinky.
Yeah, no thank you.
Going down the stairs.
And the Indians going to keep it on the ground. And we've had great success doing it. Patrick Crane, that time the ball carrier, picked up a couple. 2nd and long now for the Indians, and we're run to 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. Happy Thanksgiving to one and all.
You know, Jim, sorry, when you mentioned the Slinky, boy, that makes us feel like we're, like the kids say, that guy's a fossil. We're talking about the kids have all these like fancy video games, and they're playing the video games all the time, and we say, hey, you should be outside playing, and they get this thing that does all kinds of gadgets, and we had this Slinky that just went jing, jing, jing down the stairs, and we thought it was this great thing, right?
Here's Ellis. Looks to throw. He's got a man open, and it's caught. And it's Crane. And Crane's got himself a first down, and that is a gain of 19 yards on the play and an Indian
Ellis'
first
pass
down.
complete to
That
number
was a
38,
fun to
Patrick
watch
Crane.
play
Number
because
12,
with
Peter
these field
Joseph on the
positions and field conditions,
with
you
the
really
tackle.
don't see it too much, but how wide open the Dartmouth receiver was, and he executed very
That'll
well.
move the
Waited for
chains.
the ball, brought it in, turned, gained another 5 yards.
Actually,
and
they're gonna measure.
the Indians, I think they're going to move the chains, but you're going to take a closer look.
The public address announcer says they're going to measure.
Right, I don't see anybody
What
doing
exactly
anything.
are they measuring?
I don't see the chain gain doing anything.
The chain
so.
gain's just along the far side
It's a
over
first
there.
down.
First down at about the 10-yard line. That's why. Here's Ellis off the ball fake. He tried to sneak his way out to the wide side, short side of the field, and Sabula came up, got him around the ankles. And it'll bring up second down.
I promise this will be the last comment I make about the slinky.
Oh, my goodness, you put people to sleep already.
No, but, I was thinking you put the slinky at the top of the stairs, right? So it goes jing down the stairs. Okay, yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Then you put it at the top of the stairs again. Jing goes down the stairs. Now what do you do the second time, the third time? After that, it's like 1 minute, I'm all done with this toy. You know what I mean? Like, what else are you going to do with it? It just goes down the stairs. That's all it does, right?
Well, I don't know. I haven't used one since 1962.
Did you actually have one?
I did.
Little Jimmy with his slinky. Isn't that known?
Yes. Here's the Indians. They're going to run it down to the goal line. Did they get in? It is a touchdown. Cadence Chase.
Hand off to number 24, Cadence Chase for another
He slinkied his way in from about the 9.
Well, a 9-yard touchdown run by Cadence Chase. Good to see him get into the end zone because he's earned it. He's had a great game for the Dartmouth Indians, and he finds pay dirt, and the Indians just continue to find the end zone and move the ball on this overwhelmed Fairhaven defense. 5th touchdown of the day for Dartmouth.
Snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is into the parking lot and on to Larch Avenue with 3:51 to go as we look on at the replay. It's the Indians 34, Fairhaven nothing.
Now there goes Cadence Chase, another sophomore, and we're talking about a lot of the programs being down with numbers, but at least for the next couple of years, the Indians definitely have some athletes. You got Will Kelly, the sophomore quarterback that filled in for Ellis when Ellis was banged up for a couple of downs. He's someone that the coaches are looking forward to. And you got Cadence Chase, sophomore, Patrick Kane, sophomore. You got the kicker, Taradash, he's a sophomore. So you got a group there, kind of like a core group in the sophomore class that the Indians will be able to get something out of over the next couple of years for sure.
I go back a long way in this stadium. My grandmother's house is right in that end zone where Taradash just kicked through the extra point.
He kicked it over to Grandma's house.
They kicked it into towards Grandma's house. And,
all right.
There used to be a team called the Fairhaven Murphy Club, which was like semi-pro football. I saw a lot of those games as a kid. But the stadium on that far end used to be a horseshoe made out of cement, similar to Dartmouth High School's Memorial Stadium. But it only went halfway around. And they put up canvas all the way around the field, so you couldn't get in and sneak and see what was going on. So here's Fairhaven now, returning the kick. Look out. This is Sebula, and he's deep in Indian territory. He's down to the Indian 25-yard line.
Sebula with the big return for the Blue Devils.
So that's the second kickoff return that Fairhaven has done well on. This time they get it down to the Indians' 35-yard line.
It's nice to
25-yard line.
Owen Sebula really have a return like that. He's a senior at 6 feet, 170 pounds, a great athlete. And from his point of view, it has to be frustrating coming in here today, maybe thinking that they'd be able to put a game plan together to challenge the Indians. It's not happening, but to have the satisfaction of a return like that, I mean, if they can end up with a touchdown after this, like during this run, that would be so satisfying for a solid athlete like Sebula.
Fairhaven runs it on first down. Cadence Chase there to make the stop for the Indians.
Down by number 55, Jacob Medeiros.
Medeiros there as well. No gain on the play.
Cam Gordon quarterbacking. We've seen him and Joseph at quarterback. Back and forth it goes as Coach Bulger shifting things around to see if they can get into the end zone. This is one of their best, perhaps their best opportunity of the game to get in.
For sure. And they're going to throw it out to the far side. They've tried that play 4 or 5 times in this game, and it's gone for naught.
Yeah, it hasn't worked. Even when the ball has been caught, it hasn't worked. But it hasn't been caught that many times. But then when the ball is caught, the Indians' defense, it seems like there's 2-3 players waiting for them. I mean, the idea is to get the ball out to sort of like the weak side and maybe, utilize some of the extra ground that would be available. But the Indians have not given that over there. I think it'd be one-on-one, and maybe you could make something happen over there, but for not.
3rd and 10. They're going to throw it. It's going to be picked off, and this is going to go for a long gainer. And it's Nolan Ellis who breaks one tackle. Can he break the last one? Still on his feet. And Nolan's down to about the 10-yard line.
Pass is intercepted by number 11, Nolan Ellis.
Nolan Ellis, what a ball game he's had. We'll look on.
Both sides of the ball, Nolan Ellis. And you can't blame Fairhaven for putting the ball up in the air, but Ellis intercepts it and immediately turns on the speed. And watch right here, a chance to be knocked down by Gordon, but he gets away. And then when he gets out of the 10-yard line, he still gets away. And now he gets 5 more yards before he's finally brought down. So everyone's playing this right to the wall, giving it everything they got, regardless of what the scoreboard says. This is the last game. And Ellis is certainly showing that here as he's going out on top with a great game for Dartmouth on Thanksgiving Day.
That was Cibula with great hustle to finally bring Ellis down, and the Indians have now 1st and goal. And they hand it off to Marks, and he runs it right into the center of that defense. Perhaps a yard, maybe 2. 2nd down, under 2.5 to go in the 3rd. I'm Jim Thompson alongside Andrew Thompson and Paul Santos. This game being provided to you free of charge by the toy Slinky out of the 1960s.
Yes, getting some airtime, getting some publicity.
Ellis hands it off, and Fairhaven does a nice job that time. That's Miles Silver, the ball carrier.
22, Miles Sylvia, the ball carrier, brought down by number 15, Alex De Almeida.
De Almeida gets credited with the tackle. And the wind now begins to really howl once again, Paul. That flag is straight out, and it's blowing right at us. The ball at the Fairhaven 6-yard line. 3rd down now for the Indians. Ellis off the option, and Ellis is down and in for another Indian touchdown.
Quarterback Nolan Ellis, number 11, your ball carrier, brings it in for another Dartmouth touchdown.
Well, let's take a look at Ellis. This is his 3rd touchdown of the game on the ground, and plus he has a passing touchdown to his credit. That's about a 6-yard run or so. So what a game for the senior quarterback, Nolan Ellis, who's finishing up his high school career with quite a bang.
Teradashian to attempt the point after touchdown.
As we said, he's just a sophomore, so we'll be seeing this for a while.
He rides it up.
The extra point is
through.
Good.
Now, if we get that camera guy to go a little bit more to the left. Oh, can we get that back, Peter?
You're going to get your grandma's house on.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get the. You know, we go. It's Thanksgiving. You want to go back to the family now? We go a little bit.
So
right there to the left. The last house there on the left, right in there, right there. That's where my mom was born.
Wonderful.
And I spent a lot of time there. And a lot of great memories as a child.
Did you break any of those windows, like playing ball or anything?
No, but you can see that top window up there on the left.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Fairhaven games when I was 6, 7, 8 years old.
Oh, you look out the window?
Look out the window because they
wow.
used to have canvas go across the field, so you couldn't get in.
Right. So anytime somebody kicked an extra point or something, which probably didn't happen that often.
Well, my brother would get the ball and run like heck. He was older than I was.
Yeah, I'm looking at this kid, Oliver Taradash, right? Oliver Taradash, only a sophomore. He's kicking these extra points, right? You know, there are times where, you know, that kicking game is overlooked at the high school level. Think about how many times, like, I think the Indians won with a kick one year, right? They won with a field goal. So, like, you know, the kicking game is kind of overlooked, but, you know, Bill Belichick always talks about the 3 facets of the game. You can win a game by not blowing extra points. You can win a game by kicking a 25, 30-yard field goal.
Well,
I think it happens. Not that often, but.
Andrew played for Dartmouth High School in the late 90s. They played over here on Thanksgiving Day. And the sidewinder from Rockland Street,
yes,
Peter Simmons, with time running out,
gave
the Indians the victory, kicking the winning field goal. Peter's still in town, and it's doing great. He's got a little business. If you need a driveway or a walkway, look him up. Support our former Dartmouth High School athletes and students.
It's funny, you and I have been around so long, we run into people that played, you know, between the two of us announcing games forever, and I'm seeing people who are like, 45 years old, and I was like, oh, Santos, you called my game. I'm like, what year was that? I'm looking at the guy. The guy's got kids that are like almost in high school, and I'm like, oh boy, the clock just keeps on. You can't call timeout, in the life clock, just keeps rolling.
You got that right. If you keep mentioning Slinky one more time, we're both going to
No,
be.
I'm all done. I'm all done with the Slinky. Maybe they could come out with a video Slinky.
1st and 10. Peter's working on that now. Here's the Fairhaven quarterback, and he's looking for a running room, and he gets it out to midfield and a gain of 4 as we're under a minute to go in the third. The Indians, I don't think people were predicting a 41-0 score, but we sure do have it.
No, this reminds me of another one. Remember that one? This is what happens. They get punchy, right? Remember the Weeble? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Remember, you could keep punching the Weeble, and the Weeble would stand back up again. Remember that?
No, I'm not as old as you. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, see you folks at home.
Yes.
Guys, now we're going to get really. What did you say? We're
going into the fourth quarter. We're going to get punchy.
We're going to get punchy as the quarter comes to an end here with a 41-0 lead for Dartmouth. The employees in the truck. Now, obviously, they don't have microphones or anything, but they come out with the darndest things. You know that show, like kids say the darndest things?
Yes.
Well, we have about 6 of them in the truck, and they say the darndest things. If only it could get on a microphone and the folks at home could hear them.
Yeah, they say that to us. Only we can hear them, so it's
right.
It's not laughing. There it is. How about that? Like you said, 41-0. I don't think anybody thought that the Indians were going to come out here and get 6 touchdowns, 3 of them by Ellis. Had a passing touchdown to Crane by Ellis, Marks, and Ellis getting into the end zone. Cadence Chase. So there you go. Commanding lead in the fourth quarter, and just run the ball and keep that clock going and put it in the win column. I was looking back at the history of this rivalry, and of course the populations change. We've talked about that before. Dartmouth, a much bigger town population-wise, where Fairhaven has stayed relatively small. And you look at the early years of the rivalry, you go back into the 50s, 60s. Fairhaven won like almost every year there for a while, right? Before things turned around in the 70s and so forth.
Yep.
So it shifted the other way now, but it's really unfortunate in a way, in the sense that, Dartmouth just has a larger pool of players to pick from and is a much bigger school, but you want to kind of keep the tradition going. But for the past few years, it's been all Dartmouth.
Yeah, this is Sebula.
There's the highlights.
The third down carry, and he's going to come up short, and Fairhaven's going to
Sebula pushes ahead.
Go for it, I'm sure, here on 4th and about a yard to go. They trail by a score of 41-0. But yeah, they're back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Dartmouth went years without winning a game, and then the war years in the 40s and into the 50s. A lot of these kids that played for Fairhaven and Dartmouth didn't play the senior years because they went off to war, believe it or not.
Wow.
Some of you young folks listening in. And that's, after the war, the soldiers came back, the troops, men and women came back, and the people in the town of Dartmouth built Dartmouth Memorial Stadium. And that has seen many great events over the years, and it's great to see that the town has refurbished it as far as the field goes and the lights, and over the summer we'll refurbish the stadium and bring it back to where it belongs to celebrate the men and women that have served our country. So Fairhaven's going to try this little swing pass again. This time they complete it, but still not going to go very far. That was Reese Antunes on the reception.
Antunes on the carry, brought down by number 70, Nate Boucher.
So if Dartmouth wins today, the all-time record will be tied at 42 wins for Dartmouth and 42 wins for Fairhaven over the long 84 years that they've met. But again, we talked about it before, Fairhaven kind of dominating in the beginning, and now Dartmouth dominating.
And they sure have dominated today, and this kid Sebula has given it all for Fairhaven as he gets the ball down to the 40-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain. Be 3rd down and 7 yards
by
to go.
number 70,
9:44 to go in the ball game.
There was a popular toy in my era. I don't know if you had one.
Oh, another toy in your
It
era.
was the G.I. Joe. Did you have the G.I. Joe?
I did. I did have the G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And if Peter Chase could stop the music in the headsets, that'd even be better.
Yeah, how come we have music in the headsets? Is that going out over the air like that?
Oh, there's a late option pitch for Haven, recovers it.
That's better. That was only for us. There was music pumping into us, but not over the air, right?
I'm surprised Peter hasn't put something on the slinky on the air. He's very good at stuff like that. 4th and 4 for the Blue Devils, and it's probably the 4th or 5th time they've gone for a ball on 4th down.
Well, you gotta do it. You know, I mean, what's the point of not doing it? I can see Fairhaven. Obviously, we're announcing the game from the Dartmouth point of view, but a nice complete pass here for a first down would be, you know, something you like to see, but it doesn't happen.
No, and their best player, Sabula, couldn't hold on, and the Indians now will take position.
The Blue Devils will turn it over on
Hey,
down.
what do you say? You went to school for 4 years. Did you ever get a spotlight?
No, I never got one.
Well, this guy's got one coming right into your living room.
My favorite memory was beating Staying last year. Go to my aunt's house, spend time with family. I plan to go to UMass Dartmouth and do science.
Definitely junior year, being Staying on the goal line as the last play. Get in the weight room, just, you know, build some team chemistry, just enjoy like who you play with your friends and stuff. Definitely gonna go to college and try to end up with my bachelor's degree in business.
Well, congratulations to all the graduating seniors. And Andrews just made a good point. We got a great clock operator. If you can look down there, Paul, if we can get it on DCTV, there's a timeout on the field, but we got a great clock operator. He's cold, and about 45 seconds has gone by as the clock continues to run. There you see it, and we're in the midst of a timeout, and no one's saying a word.
Oh, boy, look at that.
It's still rolling up there, folks, and we have a timeout.
Is anybody going to say put time back on the clock? They're just going to let it roll? Wow, I've never seen a running clock in a high school game. That's pretty good.
We do want to get back to the graduating seniors. Congratulations.
Yes.
Hopefully you get on to college, but if you don't worry about it. There's plenty of great jobs out there and great opportunities, and you've come from a great high school. And from everybody here at DCTV, we wish the very, very best to all, including the cheerleaders and band members that are here today as well. And the graduating class overall as well, because nowadays, Paul, you have to include everybody, or you get yourself in big trouble.
Well, you know, Nate, he talked about that game against Staying, right, that they held on at the 1 yard line there. That was one of the more memorable games of the last, couple of years. So all these seniors, they always think, oh, yeah, I remember this game, and I remember this game, and they talk about it for years, and it's great memories.
Oh, absolutely. We've got a lot of subs in here now for the Indians, and that play goes for naught. That's Kelly in there at the quarterback spot now. Loss of 3. It'll bring up 3rd down in 9 for Dartmouth. But that was pretty good. We picked up a minute and a half as it begins to drizzle again. It's partly cloudy, partly sunny. The flag is still straight out, still blowing strongly here. And we got a little drizzle, and we look across the way. And those are some of the kids that played for the Indians at one time. They've got their football jackets on. As this time Kelly fakes the jet sweep and didn't fake out anybody. Good news is the clock continues to roll. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the ball game. Indians on top by a score of 41-0.
Yeah, I was watching the weather this morning, right? And it was supposed to.
Excuse me if I can.
It was supposed
we have another timeout.
We do?
And look at the clock. It's still going. The clock that keeps on moving.
You said something about, do you ever get a spotlight? I'm like, no, but let's go to this spotlight. That was like a nice little lead-in, like that. Remember Red Buttons? He used to do this thing.
Oh, my goodness.
He never got a dinner. I know that. Now I'm really showing my age. Remember we used to do that thing, I never got a dinner? This guy right here never got a dinner.
Here's Ellis's kick takes an Indian roll inside the 40 and is going to be down right in front of us at the 37-yard line. That clock continue. I wonder if they got together and said, just let the clock go. Everyone's freezing.
The game is well in hand.
I'm waiting for Peter Chase to do something with the slinky. Usually they make fun of me on Thanksgiving Day, but I think
they decided not to this year.
I think they decided that.
How did that come up? You mentioned it.
Yeah, I think they usually have something, but not this year. I think Peter's mad at me. He's always mad at me. Well, Fairhaven runs it to the far side. Indians corral a runner. And that's Reese Antunes.
Antunes on the carry.
Reese has got himself a gain of 8 on the play.
I just thought of another one. Talking football. Remember this thing, talking football? That was actually cutting edge at the time.
Gain, bringing up
but it was there were these little records, and you'd call a play, like say a pass play, and then I take the record and I put my defense in, and then the thing would play. Dick Enberg voice would come on, the great announcer, and he would announce the play.
You know, I've seen telecasts go in the dumper before, but this was well like into the dumper at a 41-0 score. And you're bringing up toys that even my grandmother doesn't remember buying me.
Oh, wait a minute. I just thought, remember that electric football? that was really, the whole field would vibrate, and the players would go in all different directions, and nobody knew what the hell happened. Do you remember? Who the hell invented that thing? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, Ben Franklin invented it. That's how old it is.
Do you remember it?
I do. What's got into you anyway?
I never knew what. We'd put the ball on one guy, we'd turn it on, and the thing would vibrate. Everybody would run all over the place. That thing was totally useless.
Oh,
that thing was totally useless. The kids have no idea what we're talking about.
You know, the TVs are all shut off around town for sure. Oh, my goodness gracious. Here's Fairhaven now.
Was that hot chocolate that they gave us this morning?
I don't know what it was, but this kid's still running around with the football. That's Gordon. And they finally trip him up. So you folks at home, you probably shut the sound down now, but Paul has brought up 4 toys that were very popular in the 60s. Now
you haven't named one except for Slinky.
So I don't want to apologize to the Dartmouth High School kids that are watching this game because it's really about you. But ask your parents and your grandparents at Thanksgiving dinner and say, what was the announcer saying? Here's Sebula looking for running room, and credit to the Indian defense. They've shut him down all day long, and a late flag comes up with 1:47 to go.
What did you have?
The clock is still going.
What did you have when you were a kid? Can you think of like when you were 8, say 6, 7, 8 years old? Like what did you have?
Putty.
Really? Silly putty.
Yeah, I've never seen a game where there's a flag, timeouts, and the clock is still going. Right? Have you ever seen this? I'm looking at my son.
That means you got a minute 20 to get whatever toy was.
But this little putty used to come in a can, kind of like cranberry sauce.
I remember that.
Same kind of can.
And then you made it into whatever shape you wanted.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, my mother was never too happy with the shapes my older brother made. There's the quarterback. He's looking. Throws. So the Indians have an interception along the near sideline. They do. The Indians pick it off here late in the ball game.
By number 13, Baron Dutra.
And that was Baron Dutra.
Yeah, another sophomore. So this sophomore class, we'll be looking forward to a lot of these athletes as we move along. A nice interception, a nice way for him and the Indians to end a big day as the clock continues to run. Yeah, I never figured you for a silly putty guy. Silly putty and Slinky. See, every year I learn something new about the great JT.
Yeah, well,
the voice of Dartmouth football and basketball.
Well, I can tell you one thing. This is one of the coldest days we've ever broadcast the game from
It's because
Fairhaven.
of the wind. That's what it is, because the temperature's not that bad.
And the clock continues to run. Thank goodness the game is over. You see the teams coming out to shake hands. And the Indians come away with an unexpected 41-0 score. I think most people, Paul, thought the Indians would be the favorite entering this one. And you get to the stadium and they say, well, Dylan Pacheco is out, and you're saying to yourself, well, he's been the entire offense along with Nate Ellis. And you say, well, what's going to happen? Well, Nate Ellis says, hey, I'm a senior. Get on my back. I'm taking you to victory. Both sides of the ball, Nolan Ellis, most outstanding player of the game, I would think, today.
Yeah, 3 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown to Crane, and also a big interception. And then we also had a touchdown run by Cadence Chase and Marks, and a number of extra point kicks by the sophomore kicker that's been doing the kicking for the Indians, Oliver Taradash. So a good performance here by the Indians, both offensively and defensively, and a nice way to finish out the season here for the Indians with a win over their Thanksgiving rivals here, the Fairhaven Blue Devils.
Well, we want to thank Andrew Thompson all season long, spotting for us. Much appreciated. And like your son Dylan, it's just great to have your son alongside, coming to the games and being part of it. It's very special, and I know it's the same when Dylan helps you out on hockey and whatever.
Absolutely.
I heard him on WBSM. Is he employed by WBSM now?
Yeah, he works part-time. He's enjoying that, and a lot of people are saying, hey, are you related to that other Santos? So it's like, yes, I am. But no, he's enjoying that over there, so good for him.
Well, perhaps you can hear the wind whistling through our headphones as it's just been a very, very cold day here in Fairhaven. So we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone associated with this broadcast, DCTV, all the camera people, the audio people. Paul had mentioned each and every one of them earlier. Tough conditions today, so thank you guys in the truck. You did a great job. Dr. Cynthia Marlin, who is the president and head honcho of DCTV. She's really not the president, but she's like the big shot.
Yes.
So we hope she has a great Thanksgiving, and more importantly, all you fine folks in Dartmouth, the turkey's going to taste a little better, Paul.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to one and all.
And happy Thanksgiving to you, my dear friend. That's
Yes,
going to wrap it up here from the stadium. Our final score, Dartmouth High School 41, Fairhaven High School nothing. For everyone associated with this telecast, I'm Jim Thompson. Until next season, so long, everybody.
Thank you.